Welcome to the Cruiser Racer channel. I'm Rebel Lion of the Electron Rebels, and this is my creative space. I call it the Builder's Corner. The Builder's Corner is the home for electric bike enthusiasts. And in this space, we're always on the hunt for the perfect canvas. A canvas for me is a bike frame. Nothing excites me more than turning something old into something new. So if this appeals to you and you like what we like too, then subscribe to this channel. Here in the Builder's Corner, you'll learn about bike mechanics and DIY custom e-bike builds. Now, let's get to the show. This is where it all began. In March 2021, as winter began to fade, I decided to take a ride at a new place, a place that was new to me. I had only seen on the map but never experienced. This is Swan Creek Mountain Bike Trail, and this place is exclusively for mountain bike riding. As I began to approach the trail, it dawned on me that one of these things was not like the other, and that thing was my cruiser. The cruiser was not made for these trails. And as I watched all these people ride around, having fun and enjoying themselves, I realized that something had to change. The park was full of riders, and on this particular day, it was not very warm at all. Every direction that I rode, I saw pairs of people riding their mountain bikes, and realizing that I couldn't move into any of these spaces like they were. It was real muddy. We had just had a fresh rain. And I said to myself, I need a better bike for this. Exactly. I need a better bike for this. Right now, I'm just out of my league. Yesterday, after taking the bike ride out to Swan Creek Park, where they actually had that cool long loop around and then crossroads in between. It was a nice little place to just race if you want, or just explore, lots of trails off in between. I mean, it was a great park to really get back and try to explore, but unfortunately, Ghost Cruiser is not that bike. Ghost Cruiser is a cruiser, hence cruiser. And I really missed out. I was so antsy. I was so excited. I wanted to get out there and get on those trails and explore them like all the other people, and all I could do was just sit by on the sideline and just kind of watch. Yeah, it sucked. So yesterday, after that fiasco, I went to the bike shop. I bought a bike. So let's see what I got. I've already started to take it apart because as soon as I got it here, I had to slap the tire on. I had to make sure that the wheel fit, the motor had to fit. Otherwise, I was just like, nah, it's gonna go back. However, the motor fits and it's gonna go. So let's take a look at the bike. All right, so here it is. This is the new bike. What I like most about the bike was the frame. The frame is definitely something I knew I could work with because all I need is a canvas. But the handlebars and stem was something that I knew I was going to change right away. The saddle was also going to have to be replaced. It's not particularly comfortable to ride on. It's way too narrow. Center triangle. The next thing was figuring out where I was going to mount the battery. It was going to be the top tube, the down tube, or the seat tube. I was not clear. At first sight, this kickstand was perfect as well, but I later found out it had to be replaced too. So last week I ordered an additional base plate for the charger, for the battery. I'm going to go ahead and use the battery I already have for Ghost Cruiser. I can use them interchangeably. It's a good battery. Why not keep using it until I get the battery that I'm generally looking for with the Racer? I wanted to build the battery, and I'm finding that building a battery is not as conducive to the project as just buying one. Now I'm going to show you what I've got going so far and how far we are along on gathering all the parts. Okay, here down beside the bike, here is our bike. As you see, I've got the wheel right next to it, and so far I've collected a new fork. We've got the headset and stem for that. So I did say that I wanted to change the whole front part, the front end here. I wanted the stem to change. I wanted better forks with some shock absorbers, and yeah. So there you go. We got that going. New stem, and then there of course is the Velamart kit, and I mean that's pretty much all. So yeah, we'll be getting that other part in, looks like by either Wednesday or Thursday by the latest, and then I'll be able to slap on or figure out where that base plate's gonna go. I haven't quite figured that out still. Looks like I can probably fit it here. Yeah, right there where the cup holder would normally go. I mean, they're already there. It's already space available, or even right there along that back tube. But I think actually those two would probably be too far down for the base plate. So once again, learning curves. Learning curves. But I'm definitely down for the challenge. Hey guys, I just got the base plate in for the second addition to the shop, Smoke Racer, and it didn't come completely put together. It was definitely not assembled, and it lacked wiring. I guess all I ordered, I mean, it was pretty inexpensive, don't get me wrong, it was only $20 for the base plate, and I guess that was without the wiring or the whole setup. So it looks like I'm gonna have to build it myself. I took apart the base plate on Ghost Ray. I'm sorry. I took apart the base plate on Ghost Cruiser to see how it's assembled, and it looks like, you know, only need two wires, a negative and a positive, connected to the inside of the battery frame. I'll show you what it looks like since I have it uncovered. I'll show you what it is that I have to do to connect it, just in case you order one that you have to put together yourself. Let's do this. Here's what it looks like while pulled apart. So initially there is this plug which goes into the actual battery, and you got to make sure you get this right. So I am constantly comparing this to the other one to make sure that I got it proper, because I don't know if you can tell here, but it's not at all even. This side is definitely much longer than the other two, so I need to make sure that it goes in properly inside on this way. So I'll be able to check on my other one to make sure. And then this is the plate. Now I'm gonna have to do a negative positive. Like I said, I have spare parts. I always have spare parts around, and I just pulled this from something else. So I'm gonna have to do one on each. So one will go through, one will go through here, one will go through here, and there's little circles there that you can get it into. And then I'll have to tape it around and make sure that, you know, it stayed on there, and probably hot glue if I may hot glue it to make sure that it stays. But this is where it will go in, and then I'll have these ends to connect to the battery. So it will go pretty much like this, and plate will go inside here, and that will be the battery, or the battery plate, I should say. So that's pretty much all you have to do. All right, so what you just saw was me putting together that base plate for the battery. And it wasn't as hard as I thought. And we tested it out. And this is where we are so far. Definitely not happy with it. What I'm not happy with is I had a very hard time putting that stem together. And I'm going to have to get some help taking it apart. I'm gonna need some more spacers here on the fork so that I can bring the stem up. Otherwise it's gonna be too loose. So I think tomorrow I'm gonna head back up to, tomorrow I'm gonna head back up to the bike shop, see if I can get some help pulling that off. I'm gonna need more tools, a little reinforcement than what I have. The only way I was going to properly replace the fork on Smoke Racer was with a special tool. The original cup fitting needed to be removed, and to do so will require a special tool. This is a cup remover, and depending on where you get it, it could be either cheap or expensive. If bought from an overseas dealer such as AliExpress or an eBay seller, it will cost about $15 to $20. But if bought from a seller in the US, it starts at around $30. Alongside the cup remover, a cup press tool is also required. This tool starts at $30 as well, if purchased through a US seller. But if I was willing to wait 30 days or more, I can get the entire set from AliExpress for $12. Because this is the only time I would change the fork on Smoke Racer, it didn't make sense to me to buy these tools. So I plan to pay the bike shop $30 to do the job for me. So in conclusion, if the part looks or is hard to remove or replace, it's because it requires some sort of special tool that you just may not have on your shop wall. FYI. See also the brake system. Cantilever brakes, and I'm finding that I am not a fan. I am certainly not a fan. These are very frustrating brakes to install. Easy to take apart, but not very easy to install and put back together. I'm looking, probably have to go with a caliper, something I'm more familiar with. So that's something else I'm going to take up with the bike shop. Next would be that middle compartment. Definitely still in the market of doing something different for that, but I'm not quite sure what yet. So, however, though, I took it out. Motor runs really well, gets up pretty quickly. I like that, and also like throttle system here. Gives me a nice display. Cantilever brakes were the bane of my existence. I spent 3 days trying to make these brakes work properly, and when it came down to it, they don't work for conversion kits. Hey guys, so what you just saw was my third attempt cruise with Smoke Racer. And what I'm finding right now is I have these cantilever brakes on it, and I really do not like these brakes. I've had nothing but trouble with them since taking them off. I'm going to do one more thing to see if I can get it to work properly, and if not, I'm just going to ditch that whole system and say hell no to cantilever brakes. As I suspected, the cantilever brakes were not going to work for the system for the e-bike. They are definitely not made for electric bikes. There are no electric bikes that you will see out there that have cantilever brakes. The cantilever brake is only supposed to pull back, give so much leverage when pulling on them, when braking. It's made for quick tapping action, so that when you brake, it grips right away, right, like that. But what was happening was, because I changed the fork on the bike, it was going all the way back. I mean, it was like jelly. It was not working at all. And I decided to go with a V-brake instead. So this will be going on now. This is more like a rim caliper brake, even though it's not. So I'm going to go with these. I could work with this a lot better. Lesson learned. Learn the lessons from me. I am the test pilot. Please learn from me. Don't use cantilever brakes. Get rid of that system if you plan on changing your bike to an e-bike. Get rid of the system and go with something different. What's up, guys? It's been about a week since I've had my hands on my own build. Even I have to recognize when I'm out of my league and find help and outsource some work when I know that I can't do it or I'm just not at that level. And so that's what I did. I sent the bike out to the bike shop and had them work on the fork situation. So I don't have that tool that is required to put the fork on there properly. I got the bike back, finally got it back. It had been in the shop for about 4 days. They were backed up with other things and other projects, and kind of had to just wait with my hands in my pocket. And finally got it back, and let's go through the damage. Let me show you what was done. So here's the fork. That's our RockShox fork that I love so much. And what they had to do was change or install the cups, the new cups for the new headset. And look at that. We needed spacers. That's about 10 spacers, $1 each, $10 worth of spacers right there, in order to make sure that this stem or any stem would work with this setup. So that's 10 spacers that went on. And we've got the new stem, which is an adjustable, because I was not a fan of having to lean forward while cycling. I did a video with this bike when a ride, a Friday cruising ride, and the footage that I had was just, I couldn't use, because if you're leaning over on your bike with a chest mount, all you're going to see is the street or the front tire of the bike or the handlebars, and that just wasn't fun to watch. So got this adjustable stem, which I like very much. I got it up as high as so that, you know, look at that compared to the seat. So there won't be any forward bending on that anymore. They also fixed the brakes that I'd been having an issue with here in the back. Now, because this bike was originally made for cantilever brakes, that was what were installed on this bike originally. The cantilever brakes have posts where the brake wires sit. And if you follow this channel, you know at this point that I am not a fan of the cantilever brakes. So we went ahead and got those replaced, and now we are using these V brakes, front and back, The thing was is that I couldn't get the brake cable tight enough, and we went ahead and had them. I went ahead and had them go ahead and hook that up too, since the bike was in the shop. Got another cable on there. They figured out a little system here. We got some zip ties. It's going around this first post here where the original brakes would sit, and so it's going around that. We had to bypass this back post where the cantilever brakes were initially positioned through there. So yeah, so we got the brakes worked out, cable, got new headset, got new stem, and that was pretty much all that's been done. You know, all this came out to about $75, which was not what I expected, but it was in the budget. Oh, right behind. You go first. How's it going? Hey, no problem. How you doing? How's it going? What a ride. All right, so where do we begin? Well, we have the model or the template, and these are all the parts that I need to go ahead and sketch or cut out on 12 by 12 PVC sheet. I started making an incision here using the X-Acto knife, and I don't think that this is going to be the way that I'm going to use, or I'm going to be able to cut through it. I'm going to go ahead and try out the saw to complete this cut. So we'll see how well the saw works with that. This is all an experiment, so let's see. So here's the first cut, but it's not quite even. So I'm going to need to figure out a better way to hold this right so it can be cut in more of a straight, even line. So far we got the smaller pieces together. Here's our two base pieces for the start of that. Now I've gone ahead and gave it a sloppy glue inside, which doesn't really matter because as long as it stays together. This is all an experiment, like I said, so let's see. lid on top because you need to be able to open this up in order to either replace a controller if you should need to, or to adjust, whatever the case. Before, looking at the bike in its full glory. Let's get to the after. Okay, here we are with all the new packages, and let's see what's in these boxes here. Hey guys, I'm here in the builder's corner and I'm getting ready to restart or redo the control box project. And after riding around for a little while and allowing it to take a little beating with, I found some things that weren't pleasing and things that needed to be fixed in order for this box to be a perfect build for retail or resell. So that's what's going on. Let me go ahead and show you what I found, and then I'll show you what it is that I plan to do differently with this next build to alleviate the issues that I had with the first one. So we're here with the top tube where the box sits, and I'm not sure if you can tell, but in here is where the problem began. So what I found was the glue that I originally used to hold all this together was not holding. But a few days ago I took this whole thing apart and started nailing it together just so I can hold it until I got the new material to rebuild this. Although the 1/4 inch PVC was ideal for a build, it was not thick enough. I couldn't use screws and I couldn't use nails. And as you can tell, it just didn't come together properly. It's overlapping on this side and it's overlapping on the other sides as well. The way it sits on the top tube, it doesn't work either. There's too much play. I'm able to just easily twist it around. It needs some kind of a grip to hold it in place. Okay, so here are all my parts that I plan to work with right now, and we'll start with the PVC. So the original PVC that I used was a 1/4 inch thick 12 by 12, and it was white. This PVC is black, obviously, and it's a 1/2 inch width or thick, and it is still 12 by 12. And I'm going to attach a hinge for the door, and then I'm also going to use a lock and key for the box instead. This here adhesive foam strip, but I can definitely see it giving it better cushion on that on the alleyway part of the box, where it will sit on top of the top two. So these will be thin enough to be able to screw into the board, without popping out on either side. Double-sided tape, which I'm going to need to remount the alarm on the inside of the box, because the original tape won't be any good. But this has some good amount of thickness, so that if I need this tape to help further cushion the inside of part that mounts on top of the top tube, I could use this as well to give me some more cushion, so that it sits on there firmly. All right, so like our last model, I've got the two bottom parts ready to go to alleyways, I'll call them. This is where the cords will come and feed through freely, and then this here is the base of where it will go on top of the top tube. This is what it looks like so far, and I think the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start lining the foam on the inside, so that I can make sure that I get a good fit for this before I construct the rest of it. So that's what I'm going to work on next. Right, so there's the box. Look, here we are. Here's the inside of the box. So instead of screwing this in like I did on the other one, there's no screws on the side now. This one is now, I put two-sided tape on it, and so it's sticking just right, just like the two-sided tape here on the alarm. Here, maybe you can, but I lined this with the foam that I use to line the alley, or the section that goes on top of the top tube. Welcome to the aftermath of the Smoke Racer build. This bike has been completely overhauled. The only thing original is the frame and the crankset. Starting at the rear, we have a 48 volt, 1000 watt, super powered brushless, gearless hub motor by Voilamart. It's a 26-inch alloy rim with steel spokes, 45 Newton meter torque, and top speeds of 28 miles per hour. Here in the midsection, we got a down tube 48 volt, 12.5 amp hour, high-long lithium battery. Purchased through Yoast Power, it weighs 4.2 kilograms or 9 pounds, 600 watt hours, 1000 charge cycles on 18 650 battery cells. The front rim is also 26 inches, and both wheels are hugged with 26 by 2 inch tires. The original brake system were cantilevers, but have since been upgraded to V-brakes. And above that is a classic retro headlamp. On the steering column, we've got RockShox suspension forks, an adjustable stem, and aluminum alloy retro mustache style handlebar. Mounted to the handlebars, we've got flamed 360-degree adjustable mirrors. We also have a waterproof wireless Bluetooth speaker with 3.5mm auxiliary, micro SD input, and hi-fi bass. That's accompanied with a phone mount as well. The seat is a waterproof wide saddle with soft comfy cushion. It houses the rear light with 3 modes: solid, flashing, and blinking. In the center, mounting the top tube, is a control/toolbox. Inside the box, you'll find the controller, a tire pump, a wrench, a hand tool set, and the alarm system. This bike is pedal assist as well as throttle, and on the throttle you'll find a battery level display. So here it is, the 2021 Cafe Racer, brought to you by Cruiser Racer Electric Bikes. Well, there you have it, guys. That's the build. I hope you enjoyed the process as much as I did. It was definitely a learning curve, and one that I learned a lot from. I look forward to applying everything that I learned to the next build. Speaking of next builds, I have one in the wing. This time around it's going to be a cruiser, and it's definitely going to be a fun time. I hope to share this with you soon, and if you enjoyed this video and if you enjoy the channel, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. There's so much more content to come. I post every week on Monday and Friday, and this documentary is just one of many to come. So thank you for joining. I look forward to seeing you soon. Stay safe and ride easy. If you'd like to be part of our purpose, mission, and our journey, please consider becoming part of the Electron Rebels Bike Club. You can find links to the club in the description below. Ride easy.